Hi guys, and welcome to the fourth part of the terrarium build. Nothing to do with building today, simply we're going to add in the cleanup crew. But before I do that, I'm going to answer some of your frequently asked questions about this tank and give you some updates. So first of all, the updates. This bromeliad down here, after a few hours of being under the jungle dawn light, it's sprung to life, literally. Here's the picture. Another plant that's doing really well under the jungle dawn light is the pilea. So, as I said in the plant haul, this apparently does well under grow lights, and it's certainly doing so. Now, a leaf did die under here, but that just makes it easier for me to water. And if we compare it from 2 weeks ago when I first added it, it's definitely grown. You can also see that this orchid has grown upwards. So if you remember, this was just one strand that curled under here. It's sprouted out a new bit, and that's going up. So it's always good that even after just 2 weeks, you can see differences already, things growing. Also, the polka dot plant at the front is growing a lot more than the ones at the back, but I think that's because it's in just directly underneath the light. The anthurium is also doing well, though with this plant, whenever these heads die off, you need to cut them off, and that will just help the plant keep growing. A few annoying things that have occurred. Number one, the moss, the terrarium moss in particular, you have to water that every day because it dries out to like a crisp. It's very crispy. And we also have a gnat infestation. Not surprising, this happened with Isla's tank. I have a theory that it comes with the polka dot plants. And basically you just get these annoying fungus gnats. They lay like 200 eggs, so then you get even more gnats happen really quickly. Best way I got rid of them before is I just used one of those strips that you catch flies on, stuck them up in my room, it caught hundreds of gnats, and because those adults never laid eggs, that sort of stopped the cycle. However, new polka dot plants, new tank, the problem has arisen again, so I've put up another sticky strip and hopefully we can get rid of them. And lastly, a cool thing that's happened with my gecko is she's realised this mushroom ledge in the corner is actually a great place to just lay out and rest. Most of the day you'll find her sat on there, maybe in the evening as well, and I think it's because she's learnt that her food goes there and she just eats from it and it's perfect. So I haven't seen her use a coconut hide so much, but she's definitely been on the mushroom ledge. And another thing with my gecko is, especially in the first week, I kept finding her in this planter over here, and now on top of the planter there's a thick layer of moss. I thought this will be great, this will prevent the gecko getting there. No, she dug underneath the moss, was on top of the bark chips, and she just kept going to sleep in there. And I don't know if that was something to do with humidity or because it was nice and dark, I really don't know. She kept doing it at night as well, which is really odd. So I made sure this was nice and humid in here. And also, where I was putting her food on her mushroom ledge, I think she gradually realised actually this is a great place to be. So she has stopped doing that for now, so that's good, but that is definitely something she got up to. Now for some frequently asked questions. I got asked over and over again on YouTube and Instagram and everything. Number one, how much did this cost? Honestly, I lost track after I paid 50 quid for the light. However, some of the stuff I already had. So some of this driftwood and that I already had. Some of the plants I already had. So I really don't know, and I think it really varies depending on what shops you have access to and so on. So it was expensive, but it's worth it in the end. If you really want to do this, you do, I don't know, it depends on your budget. I'm sure you can do it at a lower budget, but yeah, I don't know exactly how much this was. Next question, what are the dimensions of the tank? The tank is 60 by 45 by 60. So 60 high, 60 length and 45 depth. Once again, this tank came with my gecko, like some of the driftwood. And so I didn't choose to give her a massive tank, but I certainly wasn't going to pay £70 or £80 just to downsize this tank by 15 centimetres. So yeah, she has a larger tank. A lot of people asked me whether I was going to do a leopard gecko natural tank. I don't plan to. It's kind of difficult with them because you really don't know what plants are best for them. You don't know if some plant could be poisonous, and if you leave a cricket in there and the cricket eats it, it might not be poisonous to the gecko, but once the cricket eats it and then it's in the cricket system, could that be poisonous to the gecko that way? Do you get what I mean? And then the only thing I can think of is air plants could work, but air plants are so annoying. They're so difficult. It's like you think they're really simple and then you spray them with water to hydrate them. Then it turns out you've overwatered them. Then you don't water them and then they've dried out and you're like, what is the point in you? So I have no plans to do a leopard gecko natural tank for now. You may have to look into that yourself because I really don't know enough about it. A lot of people ask me, how do you clean out this tank? Well, this is what this video is all about today, when we eventually get there. It's a cleanup crew. You have a cleanup crew, they clean up all the poop and all the, like, organic matter. And, yeah, you probably need to wash down the sides a bit, especially when your crested gecko walks through their food then walks over the glass, which is always annoying. But most of the time the insects will look after it themselves, and that's why I really love having a live terrarium. And loads of people got confused about whose tank this was. So a lot of people were saying, oh, Isla's going to love this tank, and what's happening with Isla's old tank and all of this sort of stuff. But I do have 2 crested geckos. This is not Isla's tank, this is my other crested gecko tank, who I do sort of have a name for yet, but I'm still not ready to confirm it because I keep changing its name. But yeah, this is my other crested gecko, this is not Isla's tank. So now it's time to add in the cleanup crew. Now first of all I'm going to add in the worms. Now I got these worms from Swell Reptiles. I believe they're being sold as food, but I want them to live carefree in this tank. I'm not going to add them all into this tank though, because when I'm planning to do up Isla's tank, maybe nearer the summer, and I want to have some worms left over for that. So I'm going to add these in now.